Monday, and it's Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's Ask a Headhunter Live with me, Tom Malascio, and hopefully Kelly and Ernie may stop by, and who knows who else. But we already got Joe in the queue to join, so let's bring Joe up and see what's going on with Joe today and everyone else that stops to stop by. Ask a Headhunter Live has been going well for a while, and I'm definitely going to keep it. I may end up, I haven't announced it yet, but looking at possibly moving the third Thursday roundtable to Ask a Headhunter. Hey, Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Every day above ground's a wonderful day.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm older than you. You'll see how the truth of that statement someday.
I am 50, almost 56, I think. So I got a few more years under my belt.
Oh, you look great.
Eventually. Thank you. I try.
Yeah. I'm 64. I look every day of it.
Oh, you look good too. Yeah. Hey, you remember like when we would talk about like our I don't know about you, but like my parents, when they were in their 40s and 50s, they were old.
Yeah.
Like I play full contact rugby. I ski, I skateboard like on a half pipe. I can surf. And I play, with my kids and everything, my grandkids, and like I do a lot of physical stuff, and I'm 56. My dad would have been broken in half if he had tried any of the stuff that I do when he was 45. So I feel like as a society, we've gotten older, but stayed younger. If that makes sense.
I do see people like, and I'll include myself in that category because people usually don't think I'm 64. I had a situation last week where the guy thought I was like early 50s, so he's standing right in front of me. But
yeah,
when I think back to when I think back to the whole thing about people's ages, it is scary though that there are a lot of people that are our age where you look at them and you're like, oh my God, what the heck happened to you? So
you smoked too much, you drank too much, and you didn't take care of
yourself. They did something, that's for sure. Yeah. We could end up looking like
tell?
Red.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Can you tell?
Tell what?
Smoke too much and drink too much?
No, we were talking about, he said, I look good for my age. I'm 56. And I was saying that, I'm 56 years old. I still play full contact rugby. I'll go skiing in Breckenridge on the Blacks. I surf, I skateboard, right? All that stuff. Like I can still do all that. I have horses and take care of them. I mean, like a lot of physical activity. And I was saying, when my dad was 45, he couldn't do that. Like my dad tried to ride my skateboard when he was like 30 and he almost broke his neck. So that was our take on that. So let's see. It's Ask a Headhunter Live. So any questions, concerns, anybody want to throw something out for the group?
I don't have anything right now to ask. I was listening just to learn, just because I thought there might be other things, or you always
do anything, man. Like I am
wisdom.
I was saying before everybody joined when I went live, was I may move this to a longer streaming session and get rid of the third Thursday and start it. And Kelly and I were talking about this. We may do like a 10-minute nobody's on demo of something, right? Like, so it could be, we're going to do Comet, right? Or we're going to do an applicant tracking system, or we're going to do a CRM for 10 minutes and then open it up for questions, as well as Ask a Headhunter type stuff as well. So we, going into the new year, we're going to have some changes to the roundtable, but that might be one of them.
So I have a question. So last week you were showing Jobin. Is that it? So what's and then I've heard PIN mentioned. I believe that they are pretty much direct competitors. Am I right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
You're four.
There, I started a great question right off the bat.
So PIN is a sourcing / campaigning type feature, right? So what PIN does, and here we got PIN, David Amar, who is he sits on, I think David's on the board of PIN, or is involved with them some way. In fact, he's trying to get the PIN guy on here. Hey, David. So we were just talking about PIN when you joined, and he had asked me if PIN and Jobin were competitors, and I said no. Now I'm going to explain what I think PIN is, and then you can kind of take it from there if you'd like. So to me, PIN is a sourcing tool, right? It figures out what you're looking for. It goes on to LinkedIn or wherever, finds the candidates, and then it messages them for you via email, via LinkedIn, via SMS if you set all that up. So it kind of like does that whole campaign for you. And the competitors that I've seen would be Noon AI, which I thought was really good. Had some great sourcing capabilities to it, a little on the expensive side. Go Perfect, and also another one called Juicebox or People GPT. And from my understanding, all four of these things were kind of the same way, where using the large language models and natural NLE, natural language intelligence, natural language learning, whatever they call it, to understand what you're looking for and build these campaigns and build these sourcing techniques based upon that and learn from you. So when you say, hey, I don't like this guy, like Noon, for example, I would delete a guy, I'd say no, and they say, why no? Well, he doesn't have his PE. So only one guy's a PEs, or he doesn't come from an Ivy League school. So then it keeps redoing the searches and thinking about what you're saying. And their claim to fame is it replaces your sourcer by becoming as smart as a sourcer for you. David, what do you think? You're on mute, Dave.
Sorry, stepped away for a moment. Yes, so Pin, the first one I heard of was Juicebox. Pin, I'm told, is very close to Juicebox. Noon, I have not seen it. I don't know what the other one was you said, but basically
Pin,
their use case.
Juicebox, Noon, and Go Perfect.
Okay, yeah, Go Perfect. Their use case would be if you are, like I'm helping out on a lot of different things right now. Let's say your expertise is sales, right? And you get a request from a client for, I don't know, an accountant. You've never worked on an accounting role before. It can definitely help you find roles and, you know, especially if you don't, or find candidates if you don't have like a pipeline already in existence. So,
Okay.
But I have demoed Juicebox. You can do a lot of stuff with it for free. You don't have to message candidates through it, but it does have a built-in like drip campaign sequence as part of it. And you can integrate it with your LinkedIn as well. So similar to how Jobin does that connection request, you can have it do that for you in the back end. There are some limitations with it or potential obstacles, but it is relatively easy to learn how to use.
There you go.
Okay, so what does Jobin do?
Oh, Jobin is a applicant tracking system, just like Loxo, Crelate, all the other ones, but it has some components that the other ones do not have. Like, for example, LinkedIn automation, LinkedIn management, and it also has all the applicant, a lot of the applicant tracking systems are pulling together sourcing tools now. Loxo's got one; it's had it for a while. It's called Loxo Source. The one that Jobin has is called, well, they have their People Finder, and then their newest one, which is AI sourcing, AI search or whatever. But again, they're all very similar in terms of you put a job into your applicant tracking system, you drop the job description in there, you set the job up in your applicant system, I'm ready to go. Then you hit in Loxo Source, for example, Loxo Source, and it will find people based upon the job description. So similar capabilities, but not robustly as Pin, not as robustly as Noon AI, right? And not only, that's all they do, right? Whereas in Jobin, Loxo, and the other ones, they're applicant tracking system, CRM, intelligent staffing software, or whatever Loxo's new term is. So that's what makes them different. One of the things that Jobin done recently is they added a thing called an inbox, and you can see all of your conversations with a person that you have inside of Jobin via LinkedIn and email, right? So, like, for example, if I'm in Jobin and I email you and LinkedIn message you, right, and you're in my Jobin system, I can click on your profile inside of Jobin and see everything we talked about on LinkedIn and everything we talked about in an email. You know, kind of like it'll be like email, then some LinkedIn messages, and email, right? So it's helping you organize that, which I like as a feature. I think that's a neat feature. I wish Loxo would integrate that there. There's a talent, something or another, that you can pay like $12 a month for that'll do that for you, but it's only one way. Whereas it seems like Loxo's is a two-way sync. So I think it's got some potential.
Okay, thank you.
Loxo's cool, or Jobin's cool because you can send 50 connection requests a day, automated with little messages. Works great for recruiting and sourcing and whatever. So, but very different components and how those two work.
Okay.
Trent, anything from you, my friend?
No, dude, just in mourning over the Mariners' loss last night to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Was that a that's baseball, and is that the World Series? Did the Mariners win? The Blue Jays won the
American League. Yeah, American League Championship Series, and it sucks because you guys might not realize this, but the Mariners, we're like the New York Jets of Major League Baseball or the Cleveland Browns. We suck. We suck.
But you made it to the American League Championships?
This is the second time the Mariners have been to the American League Championship Series, I believe. We've never been to the World Series.
Is that what's next? So the Toronto Blue Jays beat you guys, and they're going to the World Series. Who are they playing?
Yeah, they're playing Kelly's Dodgers.
Oh, that's what that Stani Otoni guy, whatever. Yeah, that's one of the guys I know plays baseball. Yeah, he's wild. They're gonna win. Sorry, the Dodgers are gonna win. Sorry, Canada, but that Stony Otani guy, whatever, that guy's a friggin' phenom.
Yeah. Now I got a question. Have you done any recent searches comparing Pin to Loxo Source?
Loxo Source is okay, right? Like, if you want something that is really good at sourcing, Pin, apparently David MR and Rich Rosen love it, and I trust both those guys. And Noon, I thought Noon was really good. I think those are two really, if you want that, if you want AI sourcing, I don't want AI sourcing, but if you want AI sourcing, those two are great. I think Loxo does a decent job. I think Jobin does a decent job, but not to the extent what those platforms do, in my opinion. That's just me, right? Like, and now Loxo's trying to get better because they just added NLE to theirs, but it hasn't changed in my opinion. It's good, right? You can almost say, I don't need Sales Navigator, because Kelly and I have been talking about this the other day. I've been doing side-by-side searches. Oh, I'll need 50 candidates for a sales search, right? I'll do Navigator and Loxo Source, and basically the same. If not, Kelly got more candidates on a hard search she was doing than Navigator would give her. So, but again, I don't think they're better than Pin or Noon, just because that's what Pin and Noon do.
Yeah, here's what kills me. Like, if you look at Pin's company, they're not big at all. You know, they don't have a giant dev team. They should be able, like Loxo should be able to throw enough engineers at the problem to make it the best sourcing tool out there.
Yeah, but what you got to realize is that a lot of the founders of these companies that have these tools, they've created previous ones, and they were very successful, and that's why they keep going at it. They take an idea of something they had or did partially in their last, let's say, company, and they're able to jump right into it because they already have all the learnings from what they did previously. Companies like Loxo are already up and established, so they don't have the same incentives as a smaller company to get things done faster. They already have an established base, so they don't need to be innovative, because what a lot of these companies' goals is to make a product that's useful enough, that generates enough revenue so they can get bought, or they can, you know, basically be sold. That's basically what the goal is, because that's what typically happens with all of them.
My question to Brent would be, what do you mean great sourcing? Right? What do you mean by that?
Well, see, I mean, like, I don't really need it because for construction, you know, if I was like trying to find like a nuclear engineer or something where it's like, you know, super technical and, oh, this guy needs, you know, to know this type of fuel, then you might need something more. And I think that Loxo probably does the trick for me. But
I want to go back to like why you said, why don't they dump all these developers in to make it a great sourcing tool? What in your mind would make it great?
I would say finding folks from other data sources that aren't on LinkedIn. You know, which I think that
I mean,
they
like,
say
like
that they
yeah, that's like the key, and I don't know if that's even possible. And now let me
It's
say,
100%
anything's
possible.
possible. Is it scalable and is it affordable?
So what you have to realize is that a lot of these tools. So I'm a sourcer by trade, right? So I know how to find people from any source. A lot of these tools are set up to work with LinkedIn because that's what a lot of the user bases are looking for. So that's why a lot of them start with LinkedIn. The smarter ones are pulling from a lot of different channels, though. So it's not just purely LinkedIn. It may be LinkedIn. It may be, other like conference lists or whatever. But what a lot of the smart ones do is they start with LinkedIn and then they evolve to incorporate the other things that align with what, again, their user base needs, right? So if a
That's
customer
just it, Dave. That's it. You're going to invest in the National Roofing Contractors Association list,
Yeah.
because free roofing contracting headhunters are in it. Like, and Brent too
They
is
do
like
it over time. They do it over time. They don't start with it. But a lot of things, a lot of sourcing, if you're looking for a tool that ultimately can do everything that you want that's in your niche, in my opinion, what you should learn how to do is dive deeper into AI and build your own tool. That way you can get exactly what you want, because you already know the sources you need the stuff from. You just need an avenue or a means of accessing that data quicker, right? And making it where you don't have to go through all that. So if you have all that knowledge, you can train or take your historic data and sources, and you can actually train your own model and then use automation where it can do the sourcing for you, right? So as, let's say, candidate A moves from company A to company B, you're going to know when they move because of all the information that's available on the open web. Anything that's behind a paid firewall, you need paid access to. Typically, you're not going to have direct access to it. Like when you source, like when I do this manually before AI was around, what you have to do is you have to pull all the data sources manually and layer it on top of itself, so you have a complete picture. So while you might be able to access something about somebody on LinkedIn, you can get something else on Facebook and Twitter and so forth and so on. And pretty soon you have a more complete picture than just what is said on LinkedIn.
and like for me, like the design, like you were talking about construction, right? And made me think of the Design Build Institute of America, right? Their directory used to be free, right? You didn't have to be a member, right? And now look, you got to pay to get in, but their directory was fantastic, right? Anybody who was in Design Build was in it. So now when you're talking about what makes a great sourcing tool, I think David made a great point. I don't think I have the brain power ever to do that, but imagine if I could put together all the industry specific like directories. For example, for structural engineering, the Structural Engineers Association of Illinois, the Structural Engineers Association of California, the Structural Associations of Engineers, Washington, D.C. and Florida, right? They have directories. You got to pay to get into them. But imagine if I was able to pay to get into those directories and put them into my sourcing tool. And then the DBIA, and then the American Society of Civil Engineers, like all that stuff is available. How do we aggregate it in a way to source it? And then how could a sourcing platform pay for all of that to get you people beyond LinkedIn and Facebook? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's where the money would be, because in construction, like, finding a PM in construction is easy because they're on LinkedIn. But, the electrician, that's on the job site getting his hands dirty, that's not on LinkedIn, but finding those folks and creating that database would be
For what
where the
state?
money is.
For what state?
Let's say Texas.
Some states license all electricians and make that directory available. Arkansas does. I had a search in Arkansas, and I was able to actually grab a CSV with all the people's names and their email addresses when they filled out all their information to become an electrician, right? So that's what we're talking about. You have to, like, because I didn't grow up on LinkedIn, I can, like, okay, if anybody here is watching or anybody who works, Texas Board of Professional Engineers, TXEE, TSBPE.org, I think it is, Texas Board of Professional Engineers. Their directory is searchable by company name. Every single person who works at a company that has their PE is in that directory. If you are a licensed professional engineer, you are in that directory if you're licensed in Texas. So you can, it used to be able, you could search by like a part of the company name. I could put it in the word metal and get like Jimmy's Metal and then Metal XYZ, but now it's just the first, they fucked it up. But that is a fully searchable directory. Now, if you're looking for a structural engineer or a civil engineer or an electrical or whatever it is in the state of Texas, that's where you would go first. How many people watching this, how many of you guys, if you work in engineering, knew about that?
No, not me.
Right? The NCEES, National Council of Engineering Examiners, that's who reciprocates engineers across all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Guam, and we have one other, U.S. Virgin Islands, right? You can get a PE license in all 50 states plus those 3 territories, right? To reciprocate, you have to go through, I have a PE in Idaho, I'm moving to Texas, I need to do a reciprocal. There's a couple states that don't reciprocate, like California, but in general they do. So that's a searchable directory depending on which state allows it, right? Like I can get great information from Texas, I can get great information from Mississippi, I can get name, first and last name, and license number from California, and that's it. One of the other states, I got to actually give them a license number for them to verify if the person's actually an engineer. So there's only some directories that are great, there's some that aren't, right? So that's like the sourcing tools, they're out there, but we are stuck on, or at least you said, all the project managers are on LinkedIn. No, they're not. But enough of them are on there that you can fill the position. There's enough structural engineers on LinkedIn that I don't need to do the Texas BPE anymore, right? But if I was struggling in Texas for somebody, I would go to that, right? Because you could do that. You could go there right now, put in structural, get a list of every single structural engineer in the state of Texas or Dallas, and then compare them to what's on LinkedIn, and you're going to see like 20 or 30% aren't on LinkedIn. That's 20% of however many it is that you're missing out on. But we are lazy. We are spoiled, right? And we can get enough.
LinkedIn has made people lazy when it comes to sourcing.
Yeah, 100%.
It really is not it shouldn't be your go-to. It should be part of the tools you go to, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not.
Tricia Tamkin talks about it all the time because she likes the Boolean stuff, right? But again, that's still a lot of the times it's LinkedIn, but there's, even, are you going to Facebook, right? Are you going to Twitter? Are you going to any other, the associations? Every industry, every niche has an association, right? And state associations. I'll use the roofing I like using the roofing contractors one, right? There is a NRCA, National Roofing Contractors Association. Majority of them are commercial roofing contractors of any reasonable size. There's also regional divisions of the National Roofing Contractors. For example, in Florida, we have the FRSA, Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Association. Tons of members, both contractors and affiliates, which is like building material suppliers, sales reps, design build guys, right? The one out in New England's called NERCA, right? National Northeast Roofing Contractors Association. It's, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, all the Northeast states. I'm going to quiz me on geography here because I'm an idiot. But that's a great directory, right? They have a trade show. All those also, there's a national trade show in February every year with the National Roofing Contractors Association, which I've been to a lot of times. And there's also regional shows. California, Texas, Florida, and NERCA, they all have regional shows. So when I was in Florida, I would always go to the Florida regional show because the sales reps in Florida were there, the contractors in Florida were there. I'm in Florida, right? Like it's a no-brainer. There are so many places like that where you can source information, but it's not giving you that lazy ass data that LinkedIn's giving you. His job history, his education, his little about me, his little headline that you can grab together and say, hey, I got a great candidate. Don't even do fucking resume. Get a send out, catch a $20,000 check, and then go fishing, right? That is why LinkedIn has made us lazy. Because I build $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $650,000 before LinkedIn existed, right? My biggest year was $636,000 in fees, 57 placements, I think. Average fee like $11,000 without LinkedIn. Didn't exist. Email campaigns,
That's
didn't
awesome.
exist, right? So we are lazy. And I don't mean to, pick on you, Brett, or whatever, but like this thing about a great sourcing tool. Well, unless it could get access to every single directory and every single industry and every single licensing there is, and then determine how old the person is and where his education is and where they're located and all that stuff. Like, and then how do you disseminate? How do you figure out to narrow it down, right? Like, I can get you that whole directory for structural engineers in Dallas. How do we narrow it down? Well, we'll do by license number. Okay, well, what if the guy just moved there? He's going to have a higher license number, but he might, he might look like he just got his PE, but he might be 102. Right? Like, you don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to a lot of that stuff. So that's why we get lazy. Sorry for my tangent.
No. 100% agree with that. But I guess the concern for me is, since I'm using Loxo and they have all that money, I want to ensure that they are damn good at finding people. So in case my competition is using PIN, they're not bringing people to the table that I'm not, and I look like a bad recruiter.
I will say, Chatterworks, I don't think they don't have an AI, and their sourcing tool's good, but they pull people. That is the one thing. It's $50 a month. You get 1,000 lookups a month for phone numbers and email addresses. That is the only one I've ever stumbled on that actually really pulls from elsewhere, right? There are tons of people on there, and it depends on the industry you're in, that will have no LinkedIn profiles, but Facebook profiles or Twitter profiles, right? And information about them. So that's not that is kind of like a neat tool. And Rich Rosen sits on their board, and apparently they have 700 million, whatever, and they painstakingly update them themselves. They don't rely just on LinkedIn. So that's a decent, step outside the box. It's not going to do the AI for you, where you throw in the job description and say, I need all this. However, a shout out to them. You can send your job description and the search you're working on to their team, and they'll build a Boolean string inside of Chatterworks for you and save it in your Chatterworks box. So you just click on it and they'll populate everything. And these guys are expert, like Dave Moore, expert sourcers, some of these guys. So we were doing a search overseas. The guy could not be in the United States to work at a design design build project at an embassy in Central America, and he had to have X amount of, but he had to have security clearance, right? So there are all these terms, SCI, TSCI. I don't know. They built a fucking Boolean string with all the different ways to search for a security clearance, as well as outside the US, and all the key terms we were looking for, ands and ors, and they gave us hints about how to remove stuff and add it. And we found people that way. So if you're struggling with a particular search, right, Chatterworks they give you a free trial for 2 weeks to try it out, right? Just no credit card needed. And it's only $50 a month for 1,000 lookups. It's, I pay $49 a month for 1,600 lookups in Sales QL and can't source anything. So, Chatterworks is not a bad deal. So I would look at that, right? If you're struggling and want to think, where can I find people? Also, I'll go back to your electrician thing. Go and search, does your state or the state you have the search in, what type of information is available on the professionals you're looking for, right? Because except for recruiters, right, every other fucking industry is regulated, right, in some way, right? They have to pass a test. They have to get bonded. They have to get insured. They have to get a licensing, right? Series 7 license, a hairdresser license, a realtor license. So see what state has directories for that or associations for that, right? I would Google,
What states do you work in?
Me?
No.
I've never.
Wow.
Brett?
Washington, but I'm starting to do more in Texas just because it's dead here in Seattle.
Dead. You're like the 5th most data centers of any state.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Like in Eastern Washington, they are building some, but it is it kind of sucks. Seattle's not what it was 10 years ago.
So we got in Washington, we got the AGC of Washington. We have the Associated Builder Contractors of Washington, of Western Washington. What else we got here? Let's see. We got Associated Builders of Western Washington, Associated General Contractors of Washington, Associated General Contractors of Washington Education Foundation, Associate of Washington Business, Building Industry Association of Washington, Southwest Washington Contractors Association, Washington State Labor Council, and Washington State Building and Construction Trades Council. Right. So if I had a search for doing something with general contractors, that's the first place I would go would be the ABC West, AGCWA, the constructionfoundation.org, and the AWB and the BIAW. That's the first place I would go. So let's see. First, let's start here. I'll even share my screen and mess with you guys a little bit here. So let's talk about construction in right. So this is we have the Associated Builders, right?
In the chat is info from ChatGPT.
Okay. So here, right? So we go up here. The first thing we do, membership, member directory, right? What do we got? Search service areas, keywords, NASCOs. Let's do data centers and see what we get. Nothing. Let's see. Let's do, what else do we want to do? We want to do concrete. Let's see what we get. So we got 33 DC Building Systems. Oh, look at all these, right? We got Matt McCartney, John Noble, Ryan Groves. Look, here's a whole fucking directory of people who deal concrete in Washington State, right? Donovan Brothers, right? And then you could go and visit their site, get more info. What's more info give us? Let's see. Gives us, Dovetail's mission, their website, their NAT codes. You can come down here and look at the NAT codes. And okay, what do we want? Do we want to search by NAT codes? With 2300, we're going to get everybody. But we can come down here and go, okay, concrete reinforcing is this one right here. So we can come back. Oops. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Damn it. Come here. Just them, right? But anyway, so that kind of, and then you can do a map search, see where they are. Right, they're up here, I guess. Enter a zip or above key vendors via keyword search. Okay, that's what. Okay, I don't understand this, but anyway, there's one. Let me go to this one. This is the AGC Washington chapter. Member districts. We got districts. So all these are 4 different. Here's a Seattle district. If we're doing a search in Seattle, right? There's a member directory there. Right, and there's a 25. Now this one's one of those. Is this the one where you? Oh, now you got to log in to get to the member directory right there. So we got to pay to get into this one. We got their educational foundation. We can look at calendar.
And maybe it is worth paying. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It might be worth paying. I don't know how much it costs to join. We got AWB, member services, membership. Right, we can look through those, and then what else we got? We got this one here, membership here, member benefits, join locally, view directory. That's date and count, certified builder. Here we go. Find a certified builder. What is a certified builder? Hire a certified builder. Is it going to give us a directory? Hire a certified builder. Here we go. Okay, great. So we're going to do 15 results. We're going to do city. We're going to do Lakewood. And we're going to do what? Let's see, 10 miles. Oh, okay, let's try 100 miles. Really?
Seattle.
Yeah, I was trying to narrow it down to something smaller. There we go. Okay, so here we go. So now we got Babbitt Construction, Better Builders, BYK, and again, so, people's name, Jay Roberts, custom made. What is Jay Roberts, right? So if we would Google Jay Roberts real quick, what do you think Jay Roberts do? Is he the owner? Or is he a project manager, certified builder? Jay Roberts, he's the owner, right? So you can just go through this real quick. You can get yourself a MPC marketing list if you had a good, there's Coons Constructions right here, right? And we got other people. There's Clayton Coons. There's a guy open to work, Joshua and Chris, right? So it's a smaller company, but see what I mean? Like there are ways to do this when you start thinking about whatever industry you're in, right? If the people who are watching or come on, like this is a Texas Board of Professional Engineers. No, it's TBPE. That's why I got it wrong. Let's see. So there it is right here. right? And then they have, okay, so in their thing, right, you can see your renewals, you can do all that, but when you come down to find an engineer, right, there's the roster, right? And then they have a CSV right here of every single fucking engineer in the entire. So you could seriously send a, I don't know what that gives you in their roster, but we'll download it for a second, right? But here's their roster, right? So, oops, let's just save that. Okay, so here, right? So search for a license. So right here you can do, we'll go to structural, right? And then we can go to employer. Let's go to, what the hell is that? Is it Green? I think it's the name of the company I'm thinking of. Green and Peterson, right? So here are all their active structurals. They're when it expires, when it was granted, right? So chances are that Ron Brokenshire got his PE in 2016 when he graduated from college. So he's probably 34 years old, right? Right? We can see all these people, right? 1991. Belay Abraham Duran. Let's see if we Google him, if we can get him at Green Engineering, right? So let's do this. And we probably have to do it the right way, the spelling of his name. But see what I mean? Like that's all right here, and everything. And you used to have their phone numbers, which is cool, right? And
so if you have to do this kind of stuff manually, you can for example, even if you just had the companies that were listed, you can then take those companies and you can identify through basically using the search engines and look up maybe like white pages or things like that that give you access to the companies and people that work at the companies. You can start filling in names underneath each of the companies. And then you can put it into a spreadsheet. You can use what's called a scraper or web scraper, and you can pull all those people from the site, put it into a spreadsheet, and use some of the enrichment tools that Tommy's talking about, and it'll get all the contact information for all these people. And then you can use multiple sites and multiple tools to get a complete picture about the profiles. And then let's say you have, 1,000 people identified. You can then filter it down further by, let's say you want just, electricians with X amount of years experience. You can use the title. I don't know the titles of that, but I know there's like journeyman and whatever, that you can narrow down to people that are within the experience level you're looking for. And you can upload them into your ATS or CRM and then put them into your, campaigns. And it takes a little bit of time, but, if you're doing a lot of searches and that's your niche, it's a great way to go about building out your database of people.
And you can, like I was trying to do this, I can do this by date granted, and then I can do it by branch. So I could just do it by branch first, grab all the civil engineers, then do it by date granted and grab everyone who like this did it for us, right? So let's do it the other way. Let's see if it did it. We're on people that got he got it in 1952. Why can't I go up? That might do it.
So Dave, is there a scraper that you recommend for the novice user out there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of easy ones. There's a bunch of ones that are pretty easy. The ones I like would be like Instant Data Scraper. So the way that it works is like it'll match up like the fields, and you basically will say this field map to, let's say, first name, and this field map to company title or company name. This field map to job title, this field map to, location, right? And then it'll map all that over for you. Some of the fields are not relevant, or bad data, but that's typically how they work. And then pretty soon you have all your fields filled out and go from there.
So here, I just pulled this up real quick, right? So if we grab Instant Data Scraper, it already maps it out for us. And you can actually get it if you turn your delay. I think it's 3 seconds. Locate next button. Right. and then click run. It should go to the next one, the next one, and next one. If it, yes, it should be doing that.
Now, these types of tools, if you're going to use a scraper, I don't recommend you do it on LinkedIn.
You can't. This won't work on LinkedIn.
Well, some of them will, but if you do that, LinkedIn has features built into it where they will block you. Because I used to use a lot of tools that did this, and they'll block you, and you don't want to find yourself in LinkedIn jail.
Yeah, and this won't work. Okay, so here's this. This will not work. It will not go. This because it's not a next button, it's a second page button. So because it's that, I can't get it to work, but some of them will. You know who might work on this is let me try this.
What about some of these companies that, and maybe I've got it wrong, where they're saying that they'll do the scraping for you on LinkedIn, but you don't have to use your own identity so that you don't get in trouble?
I mean, if again, it would be how good of a job can they do compared to how good a job you could do,
okay.
Right? Like that.
And a lot of what we're talking about here right now, though, isn't on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, there's tools. Again, most of the tools will basically work with that, right? So we're talking about stuff when you're building your own, or you don't have a solid, or LinkedIn isn't getting the job done for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, here we go. So right here, this is the comment browser. So I bet you I could get. Can you please put all the engineers on this page and the next page, comma page 2, in a CSV format for me? So it should, we know how the comment browser work. It should do it for us that way. This would be a way you could do it if you did this search and you got, couldn't use a data scraper. So it's already moved us to page 2. It's got everybody, and it's going to do it for us here. Now, the thing would be that you now could probably do with this, right, is now say, right, if there wasn't as many, find me their LinkedIn profiles, right, and any available contact information on the internet, right? You might be able to do that, right? Because right here, here's the actual CSV now of all these people, right? All the way down to Jason Andrew Zimpfer, right here at Ecom. So then I say, can you find me LinkedIn profiles on the first 10 people on page 1? So AECOM. There you go. Now, so let's try this. Get down. Can you add the LinkedIn URL to these 10 people to their profiles on the CSV you made for me? So when you're using, it just did it, right? So think about, I thought outside the box for a second here for this one. So there's our LinkedIn URL. I'm assuming right here, look, see, yep, Edward James, LinkedIn.com, Jim Ames, right? And then here's this guy's, Anus, Alan, Frank, right? There's their LinkedIn profiles now. So now I could download, drop the CV. I could put this into these first 10. I could put into Loxo now, and it would parse all of them into Loxo, and then I could ask Loxo to find their contact info, right? So once you have their LinkedIn URL, that is a key now with a lot of these sourcing tools, Jobin and Loxo specifically. They go, once the LinkedIn URL is in there, they go to their LinkedIn profile and populate all that information into your database, and then you can do 2 things. One, you could use Loxo's credits to find you their contact info, or you could export that into a CSV and drop it into SalesQL or Apollo like Kelly uses and get the information that way.
Yeah, well,
That's because it's showtime at the Apollo.
So, again, I'm going to pick on Brent again. This is what I'm like. This is a good sourcing tool. Add this into Pin, right? Like now, okay, so they got to add that whole fucking directory, and they got to update it every time. Think about that for a second. I got the CSV of the entire PE directory. I know for a fact it's not right because people have left companies and moved in the last 30 days when they updated it, right? So that's another thing we run into. LinkedIn's real time. When I switched jobs, I changed my LinkedIn. Then Loxo eventually catches up to it. Pin eventually catches up to it. So that's another issue with, we're always moving, we're always shaking, stuff's always going on. How are you going to keep up with that stuff? What is the cost going to be to update LinkedIn every 3 hours in a sourcing tool, right? Versus every 30 days or whatever they do, right? What's it going to cost to update this, right? To stay on top of this every 30 days or whatever. So you're providing the best possible information to your clients. Now you may say, hey, what they're doing is fine. I'm okay with it. We can wait 30 days. That's fine too. But like, you know, where do you cut corners? Where is the important thing when if we just worked a little harder, thought outside the box? I mean, right now, think about what I just did sitting here talking about this. I figured out a way without using the instant data scraper to use Comment to pull all the people off here and then go ask it to find me the LinkedIn URLs, put it into a CSV that I can drop into Loxo and enrich on my own. Yeah, and I just, you know, and I will say that, you know, it's funny, I haven't been on this directory for a while. It used to be that you could put in their city or state and they don't let you do that anymore. So now you're getting a much broader, like if we did the AECOM, I think if we look at the people at AECOM, some of the locations they're going to be in are all over the country, right? So that makes it difficult. Another one, PE list Mississippi. Yeah, so this one, I haven't been here in a while. Licensee, let's see, next, right? Last name, state, license type, professional engineer, state, Mississippi. And I wish the NCAA, like this should be information to all, not just headhunters, but everyone should have access to this information because it's somebody you're going to hire, right? So here's all the people here. It doesn't give you a lot, but if we click on Alan Scott Kegley, what information do we get? Okay, we get, he works for MDOT. He's an engineering intern. He got his EIT in 07, and then his engineering in 14, right? Let's scroll down to somebody else. Vicksburg, Dr. William Dwayne Martin. No, we don't need doctors. Let's look at, oh, look, and here's the phone numbers are right here. This one gives you their phone numbers, right? Let's go get Mohammed Sakid Khan, Madison, Mississippi. He moved there from Texas, right? We click on him. Professional engineer, he works for himself, right? So, and then if I remember correctly, you could get the whole entire directory from these guys. Yeah, okay, here was one, MDOT again, right? So find a licensee. Used to be able to, and I don't know if they still do it, download the entire PDF of all the engineers. But I guess you can't do it anymore. I used to get this once a year and download it, and then it's a PDF, so you could search it and it would have all their information. I may have an old copy of it. I doubt it, but let me see. Mississippi engineers. No. And here's something. Look at these databases I have saved, right? This is a company name, point of contact, what's your firm is your state located in? These are government contractor things, right? What states can you form in? Applicable, right? All this information. I think this one's called USAC Contractor Database as of November 2022. This is the minority directory for, I think, government contracting. Minority means, you know, black, women, disadvantaged business enterprise, whatever, and all this information, right? So we got Cockville Tribal Services, A&E Construction, Tom Pfeiffer, Senior Estimator, right? All the information, phone number, email address, all this, right? And this is pretty damn big, right? With all this information. This is free. Yeah, this one, what's one? This is, I don't even know what this one is. And then this one is the Cold Form Steel Institute. All the engineering firms that do cold form steel, right? With their website, their phone number, their location, and their contact or whatever, who it may be. And then this is U.S. Department of Email Export. What is this? This is United States Department. I don't know what it is. The Veterans Affairs. I think this is something I did for someone who was looking for something in healthcare. right? So this stuff was all available that I grabbed really quickly, right? And imagine what you guys, if you really dig into it, what you guys can find directory wise. Like this one right here, I'm sure that you would love this one. I'll give it to you if you want, Brent, because it's got all this information, right? The titles of the person, this one too, the minority directory. Like you're pulling, because remember, yeah, the company is a minority disadvantaged business enterprise, but the people working there might not be, right? And then here's their titles: presidents, owners, business manager, NCARB president, vice president, marketing group manager, director of business development, CEO. I wonder if we can find, Kelly needs a superintendent, right? So let's see. Control, find, oh, because I didn't open it. I'd have to open it with Microsoft Excel. Control, find. I want to find a superintendent. No, none. Okay, so how about estimator? I know I saw an estimator on there, you damn it. Maybe I spelled superintendent wrong because I'm an idiot. Estimator. Nah, I know. Oh, I know what it is. It's telling me I'm searching that one spot. That's why. So I want titles. Here we go. Titles. To all the titles. Now we go. Okay, we got a senior estimator. Bunch of estimators, right? Look at all these. We're down to 1,200. When we got estimators, I got 5 or 6 of them. A super. Yep, there's a superintendent. Sun Development Corporation Construction, Commercial Institutional Building Construction. Michael Posey, Superintendent, Washington, D.C. Then we got, let's see, that's it. He's the only one, right? That's the only guy. He lives around the corner from me, though. 240 number, right? There's his email address. He's a black male, or his company's owned by black males. Look, here's the ownership minority here. The representations here. Previous rail, this must have been something to do with railway, rail experience and unique capabilities. All this is available. This is government stuff. Anybody doing government, I remember, yeah, they got their certification to do government contracts, but they do normal stuff too, right? These are free fucking directories, guys. You just have to learn how to source them, learn how to search them, right? Learn, like, if I wanted someone in the state, right? I want to find someone who's in, I don't know, Texas, right? Is there any Texas people doing work, government contracting work? Yeah, we got E.W. Wells, Mitchell Robinson, VIA Architects, Icon Contractors, Sustainable Modular Management, J-Mark Engineering, right? Bueno Integrated Technologies, right? Like there's all these companies and there's their websites, right? So if we were back before, we were like, okay, let's look at one of these. J-Mark Engineering. We click on J-Mark right here. And about us. Somebody needs to fix their website. But that's all available, all free, guys. So we don't, look, Brent, I'm 100% with you. I would love to pay an extra $100 a month and Loxo have access to every single one of the directories and associations and licensing boards, and it would be fantastic. But I don't think it's feasible. I just don't. Right. Let me show you guys, for out the people are doing electrical, right? So it was Arkansas that I had to search. This one. That's the one. There was one that gave me everyone who was a certified, maybe it was maintenance or PLC or something. It was like, because I was looking for a maintenance tech, electrical maintenance, like high voltage maintenance licensing, Arkansas. Oh, you got to do an account. This is new. They didn't make me do an account. but I had a full blown. I sent out when I always like Kelly. I talk about this. I don't do campaigns. Let me show you in Loxo. I would show you guys in Loxo where I did this campaign, and these were all the people that I pulled from that directory. Right, like it was huge too. I wish I could remember the name. Let me see if I can go to my source here. Deals, outreach. Where is it? Right. So let me grab this over here and come down to here. There it is. Nucor Industrial Arcs, Blythe, Arkansas. 450. All I did was 2 real quick emails to these guys. Right. So this is what the message said. Right. Kind of strange deal. I'm a headhunter recruiter. I got your name off the Arkansas Licensing Board. You're a current certified industrial maintenance electrician. That's what I was looking for at the time. Right. And it had the whole thing. Right. I got like 3 guys out to interview on this search. And if we look at the prospects, every single one of these had an email address because, well, almost all of them, because it came in the directory, right? The directory of these people, right? All I got, that's why I said there's no LinkedIn, there's no nothing, just their email address and their name. That's all I got. But it's all I needed because they had a certification that I was looking for. They had to have high voltage and something else. Whoever raised their hand, go ahead. You're on mute if you're talking.
Hey, yeah, I was just had a question. You guys use like similar directories for when you're looking for clients too? Like obviously not like licensed, but like, like in a similar way for clients.
Yeah, like the AGCs that I showed earlier showed all the general contractors who did concrete in Washington State or whatever. Like that would be a great place if you had a concrete estimator, right? That said, hey, Tom, right? My wife's on work release. If I want to see her, I need to live in Seattle. Can you get me a job here? And I have a ton of background in concrete estimating. So that's the first place I'm going to go. And I don't care what the company size is. I'm going to call every single one of those people. If I have a rock star concrete estimator, I'm going to call every single one of those companies, that guy that's listed on there, and say, hey, this is Tom Alascio. I'm wonderful and great. I got a candidate. It's wonderful and great. Moving to Seattle. When would you like to talk to him? Right? And then go from there, because you never know. A small company may have a huge profit margin, like one of my clients, and they gladly pay your fee. We only have 8 employees, but we made $2.5 million last year. We'll pay your fee. We could use an estimator like that. So everybody gets in their head, they get ready, and they over research, right? So if you have a good estimator, right, or a good project manager, or a good whatever, and he's good, he's really good, then and he wants to move to a state or a city or whatever, call everybody. What's the worst that could happen? They say, no, we can't pay your fee. We're little. And then you move on. Everybody wants to do everything so quick, but that's how you develop relationships. That's how you get into these guys' heads. That's how they get to know who you are, right? That guy may say to you, Tom, I don't need an estimator, but fuck, I've been looking for an engineer who knows how to design concrete forms. Can you help us? What a coincidence, Brent.
I don't think it's as easy, Tommy. I don't think that
it's not easy. It's not easy.
It doesn't happen as often as it used to.
It's not easy.
People are so leery of people,
Yeah.
It takes a lot more.
I think part of it is having to develop your phone presence. If you get people on the phone in the first place, I'm saying, but your seat planning, right? So I think the key is to have your pitch down, to expect objections, and to be able to, deflect them, turn it around, and have be able to adapt on the fly, but be genuine and be yourself, right? But also consistency and having a clear message, because granted, they may hear from Tom, today, but guess what? 3 months from the road, they'll remember Tom. If you follow up with a phone call or an email, you're covering your bases and you're using multi-channel engagement, right?
100%, bro. You hit the nail on the head.
Three-way. Your voice, your email, and your LinkedIn connection request, right? And some people suggest that you start with a LinkedIn connection request and you wait a little bit and then you reach out to them. That way they're not, how many of us get a LinkedIn connection request right away, and then some annoying person's like, hi, Tom, you want to buy a boat? No, I don't want to buy a boat. I don't know you, but if you wait.
Piggyback on that. If you're going to send a message, do what the message says. If you say, I'm just looking to connect, then just fucking look to connect. Don't say I'm looking to connect and then pitch them a job or pitch them a service, right? Be honest. If you want to pitch them a job, say, hi, my name's Tom. I'm a headhunter. I'm looking to get you as a client. Let's connect. Right? I want to do a search for you. I have so many recruiters will come to me with this messaging that's like, oh, my first message says, I'm looking to expand my network in the concrete world. And then I send that. And then I have the next pitch says, hey, I got this great candidate. Well, no, motherfucker, you weren't looking to, you lied. You fucking lied. Don't lie.
And
Be
you want to
honest.
make sure you drop the F-bomb and the MFs in your messages
Twice.
because that way it works and it's going to get their attention.
What do you?
That's called
Are you
sarcasm.
talking to my wife, David? Because my wife gives me a hard time all the time about my language. Yeah. So David's right. Like and if you've ever heard me talk about cold call, there's a couple things I say. There's more than one objective to a cold call. Everybody's like, oh, my cold call is to get my candidate, my MPC sent out, right? No, MPC sent out, alternate job order, fact find. Do they use recruiters? Do you have any other divisions? Who do I talk at your company? Who's your favorite recruiter? Recruit that guy. What about you? There's so much you can do on every cold call and lots of information you can gather, and then make sure they remember who you are. Everybody knows who I am because I'm an asshole. I'm obnoxious, right? I talk loud. I cuss. I have a lot of animation to me. And you can watch one of the videos where I talk about this, where I say, and this is a little older school because it's not as politically correct, but I'll say, hey, take my name and number and put it behind your wife's picture. Because when the shit hit the fan, call me before you call her, and I'll find you a new job. Now, when I say put my number behind your wife's picture, what do you think the first thing a guy is saying when I say that to him? Like, what do you mean, right? He's going to remember, and he realizes I'm doing that because I want to help him. He's going to remember who I am now. He's like, yeah, he's that crazy guy that told me to put his number behind my wife's picture, right? So now when I message him on LinkedIn or send him a LinkedIn connection request, he's going to go, oh, yeah, that headhunter, right? That mad or glad. I called it mad or glad. Every phone call that you're on, that person should be mad at you or happy at you when you hang up the phone. They should not be like, meh, just another recruiter. Because that's what happens. This is the majority of the recruiters' MPC presentations. Hi, Kelly. My name's Tom Alassio. I'm a headhunter. I just interviewed a great candidate who's got X, Y, and Z and lots of features, but no benefits because I don't know how to sell features and benefits. Would you like to talk to my candidate tomorrow at 3 or Tuesday at 4? And then she's going to say, no, we don't have any openings. We don't use recruiters. Send me your resume. And then I'm going to try with a lame rebuttal that I read off of LinkedIn or I asked ChatGPT to build for me. It doesn't work. And then I'm saying, okay, Kelly, well, that's fine. I understand. In case anything changes, don't hesitate to give me a call and let's connect on LinkedIn, okay? Okay, bye. That's it. That's 99% of the people out there. That is their MPC presentation. How boring is that?
I got another recruiter's MPC presentation.
That's
First of all, it was really long. It was on like 4 different people, and it was hard to read on my phone, which is how I read everything, and I think most people do. And it didn't talk about any achievements. People do not talk about achievements. They don't. It was, all kinds of admin stuff. Big fucking deal.
Oh my God, he's got a degree and 10 years experience, and he graduated summa cum laude.
Exactly.
And he's worked at the same company for 9 years, and he's recently moving to Chicago because his wife's on work release. When would you like to talk with him? But no benefits, no achievements, brought 7 projects in on time and under budget. I was able to successfully bring in 2 projects who were over budget, under budget, and save the company $7 million, which means, Mr. Stock, he can save your company that kind of money and bring your projects in on time. When would you like to talk with him? Because that's what people want to know. Can your candidate or this person, when they interview him, make me or save me money? So if you can kind of reiterate that in your MPC presentation, that's going to put you again better than all the other recruiters are out there. So when you're building your MPC, whether it's an email or a phone call or a LinkedIn or whatever, think about benefits. How can my candidate benefit this company? What can this candidate do that my company will go, wow, yeah, we want to talk to that guy. Not like every other recruiter. It's 5 years experience, just got his PE, worked for 2 firms that do, vertical construction, design build projects, and uses Tekla. He has 3 years Tekla experience. That's exciting. That's like every other candidate. But what are the benefits? How is this guy going to make me money? How is this guy going to save me money? That's what we need to be doing as sales guys. See ya. So And again, so when that guy hangs up the phone, he goes, damn, that's a candidate I want to talk to, or that's a recruiter I want to contact again because he's going to be able to help me.
Yep.
Right? And I got a hard stop, guys. Well, I had a hard stop at 6, so I'm going to have to get out of here. Is there any questions, anything I can answer? I'll leave this open for you guys. I'll stop the streaming, but I'll leave the window open if you guys want to talk after I go. But I got a mother-in-law and a wife that I need to go do some stuff with. So any questions before I go?
No.
Fine.
Okay.
Thanks very
Thanks a
much.
lot.
I'm dropping.
I
Hey,
I want to get it on the custom.
appreciate it, guys. Thanks for stopping by. For all of you that are watching, we really,
Thank you,
really
Dave.
appreciate it. This Friday, 12:30, Recruiter Roundtable. Don't forget. And this is not the last Friday. We have 2 more Fridays. So this Friday is going to be about, I think, differentiating yourself from your desk. We haven't completely decided to do that. And next Friday is our open discussion, and it's Halloween, so you need to dress up. And I'm going to put that in the thing when we put it on there.
Ooh.
Other than that, everybody keep smiling and dialing, and we will see you this Friday at 12:30. Or let's see, Thursday on Dominic's at noon, his business development. And if you decide you want to come over and argue and fight and have a good time, Animal Show is Wednesdays at noon. On his Animal, you can find on the Recruiters Online Facebook group. We're out. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. Have
I'm
fun.
there.
Talk away. I'll see y'all later.
Thanks a lot.
You got it.